So what's the big thing today? Buying investment properties, but there has been some changes you've got to hear. I'll be right back with them. Hey Halifax, Brenda K here with the Halifax Home Selling Group and the sweet Miss Frankie who's here with me every day. Thank you so much for tuning in. So what I want to talk about today is investment properties. I mean, it is such a hot topic. And years ago, people, I say regular people, and what I mean is the average person that's, living life, raising a family, would never have thought to take their equity out of their home and buy a rental property. And that is a hot thing to do today. But here's the thing, you really have to know what you're doing. There's been a couple changes, and one of the biggest ones I want to talk about is what's the changes in the Residential Tenancies Act. So here's the story. The guy buys an apartment building, not through me, buys an apartment building a couple of years ago, new to Nova Scotia, and thinks, hey, what a great deal. I'm not locked into any leases here. Yeehaw. I'm going to get rid of these tenants on 30 days notice. I'm going to fix up these 5 units and I'm going to re-rent them. Nice area of Dartmouth, really low rents, building needs a lot of work. And I'm going to re-rent them and I'm going to make myself some money. That was 2 years ago. So I'm flipping through the dailies, which is what we read every morning to see what's coming on the market. And there's his apartment building for sale. And you know why? He's losing money every month. And you know why? Because the rents are so low. Oh, wait a minute. But there's no leases. They were month to month. He was just going to get rid of them in 30 days notice. What sound do I need to make? X, bam, stop, whatever noise you want to make. That's the big thing. Okay, so the way it used to work in Nova Scotia is if you had a tenant that was on a month-to-month lease, you would give them 30 days notice and they would vacate the property. Okay, the Residential Tenancy Act, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not for the landlord, it's for the tenants. And the tenants know it and they know how to work the system. So here's the thing, when you have a month-to-month tenant now, and I find this hard to believe, but it is true, you can't get rid of them unless, okay, because I know people are going to go, whoa, Brenda, you're wrong. Okay, unless you're moving into the rental property yourself. So even if my client moved into one unit, maybe had 4 family members that moved into the other, but come on, guys, we all know that's not going to happen. So here he is, and again, bought it, working with somebody that didn't have the level of knowledge on the Residential Tenancy Act, and that's the thing, you cannot. So now, okay, so here's his choices. He has to try and get them into a fixed term lease. Once he gets them into a fixed term lease, at the end of it, he can then, not renew that lease. All right. But that's, like I said, that's hard to do because tenants are smart. And so usually what they say is you're buying them out. So you're going to give them such a great deal, but they know and if they're willing, because they know if they get a super good deal, hey, listen, you signed this 1-year lease. I'll give you this. I'll give you rent for this for a year. But the tenants are going, okay, wait a minute. If I do that, then when this lease is over, I have to leave. And I kind of like it here. I'm paying pretty good money, which they are. And the reason I'm telling this story is that a client of mine called me on this building and said, hey, look at this great 5-unit building. Looked at the numbers and, he said, let's find out a little bit more information. So I sent him an email off and I called the agent and I said, they're all taboo month to month. Well, he first got excited, not getting on where I was coming from. Great, I'm gonna do the same thing. You can't. So if you want to invest in rental properties, and I mean, especially if you're taking the equity out of your home. Your real estate is your largest asset. That's your investment in your own personal wealth. So you really got to understand the Residential Tenancy Act of Nova Scotia. You got to understand what month to month is, what a fixed term lease is. So please, If you'd like to invest in rental properties, you know, and you're talking to different agents, talk to an agent who's dealt in the rental properties. Talk to an agent, ask them if they're familiar with the Residential Tenancy Act. It's really, really important that you understand what you're getting into, because my God, here this guy is now, he's been in there 2 years. I mean, I can't imagine who else is going to walk in and take that over if they have any knowledge of the Residential Tenancies Act. So that's a little update on what happens when you jump into rental property. So I did do a video a while back that has kind of a lot more clarification on them, but month to month, beware. Okay, so if you were thinking of getting into rental properties, you can always book in the calendar link below with me and we can talk a little bit more about it. I am Brenda K with the Halifax Home Selling Group. This is the sweet Miss Frankie who was actually enjoying a treat today. And we'll see you next week in the next video. Cheers.